The vast chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as High Chancellor Zorix raised his four-fingered hand. 12 representatives from the most advanced species in the known universe sat around the circular table. The room's floating lights cast a blue glow over their varied forms, some with scales, others with tentacles, a few almost humanoid. "We gather today to address a matter of growing concern," Zorix said, his translucent skin pulsing with light patterns that conveyed his worry. "The species known as humans." The holographic display in the center of the table activated, showing a small blue planet. "Earth," continued Zorix, "home to a species that has achieved space travel far sooner than our models predicted." Captain Lloyd Bennett stood at the back of the chamber, the only human present. He shifted uncomfortably as all eyes briefly turned to him. As Earth's diplomatic observer, he was permitted to watch but not speak during these proceedings. The reptilian delegate from Draco 7 leaned forward. "They have developed faster than light travel only 3 centuries after discovering electricity. This pace is disturbing. Not just disturbing, but dangerous," added the crystalline representative from Lumina. "Our surveillance shows rapid militarization of their space forces." More images appeared. Earth ships with weapon systems, space stations with defense capabilities, training exercises in the asteroid belt. Lloyd clenched his jaw. These were defensive measures necessary after first contact with the Screeth had ended with 3 destroyed Earth outposts. "The humans are unpredictable," said the mechanical delegate from the synthetic collective, its voice perfectly modulated. "Our predictive algorithms cannot reliably determine their decisions. They often act against their own self-interest based on emotional responses." "They call it courage," muttered Lloyd under his breath. The Aquarian delegate, floating in a water-filled pod, spoke next. "Perhaps we judge too harshly. They show remarkable adaptability and creativity." "Precisely what makes them dangerous," countered the Draconian. "They adapt our technologies in ways we never intended. Given enough time, they could rival even our oldest members." Zorix nodded solemnly. "The pattern is clear. Every species that advances too quickly without proper guidance becomes a threat to galactic stability. We have seen this 7 times in our history." Lloyd wanted to object. Earth knew about only 3 extinct civilizations. What weren't they being told? "I propose immediate containment measures," said the synthetic delegate. "Limit their expansion to their home system. Restrict technology transfers. Monitor all communications. Control their development until they mature sufficiently." "For how long?" asked the Aquarian. "Our models suggest a minimum of 500 years," replied the synthetic. Lloyd felt his heart sink. 500 years of being treated like children. Earth would never accept this. "We should also demand they reduce their military capacity," added the Draconian. One by one, the delegates voiced their agreement. Lloyd stepped forward, hoping to speak, but Zorix's cold stare stopped him. "You are here to observe, Captain Bennett, not participate. The Council has decided." "Without even hearing our side?" Lloyd asked, breaking protocol. Zorix's skin darkened. "The decision is unanimous. Earth will be contained for its own good and the safety of the galaxy. Your government will receive our terms within 1 standard day." The formal vote was quick and final. All 12 representatives voted in favor of controlling Earth's future. As the session ended, Lloyd rushed out of the chamber. He needed to get back to his ship and warn Earth immediately. The Galactic Council had just made a terrible mistake. They saw humans as dangerous children needing strict parents. What they failed to understand was that humans had never responded well to being controlled. As his ship broke orbit from Nexus Prime, Lloyd sent an encrypted message to Earth. "Council has voted. They plan to cage us. Coming home with details. They don't understand what they've done." Behind him, the Council world shrank to a point of light, its inhabitants unaware they had just awakened something they couldn't possibly control. Admiral Susan Carter stood at the window of North American Space Command, watching the stars. Her reflection showed a woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. When the alert came through about Captain Bennett's emergency return, she knew it wasn't good news. "How long until Bennett arrives?" she asked the young officer at the communications station. 20 minutes, Admiral. His ship is pushing its engines beyond safety limits." Susan nodded. That was typical of Lloyd, always pushing limits when it mattered. The command center buzzed with activity as senior military and civilian leaders filed in. Dr. Eric Winters, Earth's top expert on alien cultures, arrived looking worried. Next came Kate Monroe, a brilliant scientist who rarely left her underground lab. Her presence confirmed this was serious. Lloyd's ship docked at 200 hours. He walked into the command center still wearing his diplomatic uniform, his face tight with anger. "They voted to control us," he said without greeting. All 12 council races agreed. They're scared of how fast we're advancing. Susan's face hardened. "Explain." Lloyd connected his data pad to the main screen. "The council has ordered restrictions effective immediately. No expansion beyond our solar system. Limited technology development. Reduced military forces. Council observers stationed on Earth and all our colonies." The room erupted in angry voices. "They expect us to just accept this?" asked General Pete Harris. "They do," Lloyd said. "They think we're dangerous children who need supervision. 500 years of supervision, to be exact." Dr. Winters shook his head. "They fundamentally misunderstand human nature." "The council doesn't ask," Lloyd continued. "They're sending ships to enforce their decision. They'll be here in 3 weeks. Susan turned to the room. "Options. We could agree and secretly build up," suggested Harris. "They'd detect that," Lloyd said. "Their monitoring technology is beyond anything we have." Kate Monroe spoke for the first time. Her voice was quiet, but everyone listened. "Perhaps not beyond everything we have," she said. All eyes turned to her. "I've been working on something," Kate continued. "Something the council races can't understand because their brains are wired differently." She activated her own data pad, showing complex energy patterns. "There's an energy field that permeates the universe. Humans can sense and manipulate it in ways the council species physically cannot." "Is this theoretical or practical?" Susan asked. 6 months ago, it was theoretical," Kate replied. "Now I have a working prototype. With more resources, I can develop technology that's invisible to council detection methods." Susan considered this information. "We need time. We need the council to think we're complying while we prepare." "A diplomatic mission," suggested Dr. Winters. "Someone to stall while Kate works." "I nominate Ryan Fletcher," Lloyd said. "He's our best negotiator, and he has a gift for appearing to give ground while giving up nothing important." Susan nodded. "Get Fletcher here immediately. General Harris, begin quiet preparations for resistance." "Dr. Winters, I need everything you know about council weaknesses." "And me?" asked Kate. "You get whatever you need," Susan said firmly. "People, equipment, resources. No restrictions." The meeting continued through the night. By morning, Earth had a plan. They would send Fletcher with a delegation to appear cooperative. Meanwhile, Kate would develop her technology, and the military would prepare in ways the council couldn't detect. As the others filed out, Susan called Lloyd back. "Captain, what aren't you telling us about the council?" Lloyd's expression darkened. "They mentioned 7 extinct civilizations. We only know about 3. They destroyed the others." "I think so. For advancing too quickly, for being too unpredictable." Susan looked back at the stars, her resolve hardening. "Then we better make sure we're not number 8, she said. "Humanity doesn't bow to tyrants, not even alien ones." Lloyd nodded. "That's exactly what the council doesn't understand about us." "And that," Susan said, "will be their biggest mistake." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Kate Monroe worked in her laboratory. The room hummed with strange machines. Blue light pulsed from the central device, a metal chamber connected to dozens of monitors. Kate hadn't slept in 3 days. Dark circles showed under her eyes, but excitement kept her going. She checked readings on her tablet as her team of scientists made final adjustments. "Energy field is stable," reported Sam, her assistant. "Ready for the first human test." Kate nodded. "Bring in Major Howard." Major Alicia Howard entered wearing a simple black uniform. At 34, she was one of Earth's top Special Forces operators, calm under pressure and quick to adapt. Perfect for this risky first test. "Are you sure about this?" Kate asked her. Alicia smiled slightly. "Someone has to be first. Better me than a civilian." Kate explained the procedure one more time. "The energy field exists everywhere, but only humans can sense it. This chamber will enhance that natural ability, letting you manipulate the field consciously." "And the Council aliens can't detect this energy?" Alicia asked. "Their brains lack the receptors. To them, it's like trying to see ultraviolet light with human eyes. Physically impossible." Alicia stepped into the chamber, the door sealed with a soft hiss. Kate activated the sequence, and the blue light intensified. Inside, Alicia felt a strange tingling across her skin. The sensation deepened, reaching into her bones, her brain. She saw patterns forming, invisible connections between objects. She reached out mentally, touching those connections, feeling how they could be altered. The test lasted 12 minutes. When the chamber opened, Alicia stepped out looking exactly the same, but entirely changed. "How do you feel?" Kate asked anxiously. Alicia looked at a coffee mug on the desk 20 feet away. She focused on it, and the mug slid smoothly across the surface without anyone touching it. "Different," Alicia said simply. "Like I've been blind my whole life and can suddenly see." The scientists stared in amazement. This was beyond their expectations. "Can you describe what you're doing?" Kate asked, recording every word. "I can see. Threads, I guess. Connections between things. I can pull on them, reshape them." Alicia concentrated again, and the mug floated upward, hovering in the air. "The Council would see this as magic," Sam whispered. "Or a weapon," Kate added, "which is exactly what we need." While Kate's team worked on enhancing more personnel, Ambassador Ryan Fletcher prepared for his mission to Nexus Prime. He studied Council protocols and practiced looking appropriately humble. His real job was to buy time and gather intelligence. In his office, Fletcher reviewed files on each Council race with Lloyd Bennett. "The Draconians are the most aggressive," Lloyd explained. "The Synthetics are logical but inflexible. The Aquarians might be sympathetic to us." "And what about these Vel?" Fletcher asked, pointing to an image of elegant beings with silver skin. "Relatively new Council members. They were subject to restrictions themselves 1,000 years ago. Now they enforce the same rules they once resented." Fletcher nodded thoughtfully. "Potential allies, perhaps." "Possibly. But be careful. The Council chambers are full of monitoring devices." "Not for what we've developed," said a new voice. Alicia Howard entered, now part of Fletcher's security detail. She carried herself differently, more confident, more aware. "Major Howard will accompany you to detect hidden threats," Lloyd explained. "Her abilities won't register on Council scanners." Fletcher looked impressed. "How many like her do we have?" 12 so far, Lloyd said. "More in training." "Not enough against a galactic civilization." "We don't need an army," Alicia said. "We need to show them they can't control us. One demonstration should be enough." Fletcher smiled for the first time. "Then let's go give the Council a demonstration they'll never forget." 2 days later, the diplomatic ship departed from Nexus Prime. On the surface, it carried a team ready to negotiate Earth's surrender to Council authority. In reality, it carried the seeds of humanity's resistance and abilities the Council couldn't begin to understand. Nexus Prime glittered like a jewel against the blackness of space. The human diplomatic ship approached the massive space station that served as the Galactic Council headquarters. Ambassador Ryan Fletcher stood at the viewport, his face calm despite the tension he felt inside. "Quite a sight," he said to Major Alicia Howard, who stood beside him. "Beautiful but intimidating," she replied. "That's deliberate," I imagine. Fletcher nodded. Everything the Council does is calculated to remind lesser species of their place. The docking procedure took nearly an hour, with multiple security scans. Fletcher noted how the Council security officers avoided eye contact with the humans, as if they were beneath notice. A tall, thin alien with pale blue skin met them at the airlock. "I am Vex, your assigned liaison," he said in perfect English. "The Council has arranged accommodations for your delegation. Your first session is tomorrow at cycle start." The human group was led through vast corridors, filled with representatives from dozens of alien species. Many stared openly at the humans. Some whispered behind their hands or tentacles. "They're talking about us," Alicia murmured. "I can feel their emotions. Mostly contempt, some curiosity." Fletcher kept his diplomatic smile in place. "As expected, we're the unruly children being brought before the adults." Their quarters were comfortable but small, another subtle message about humanity's status. Once alone, Fletcher gathered his team. "Remember, we appear cooperative but give away nothing important. Our job is to delay, observe, and identify potential allies." Later that evening, the humans attended a formal reception. The grand hall was filled with council representatives and their staff. Fletcher moved smoothly through the crowd, engaging in careful conversation. While Fletcher worked the room, Alicia stood against a wall, watching. Her enhanced senses allowed her to detect undercurrents invisible to others. She noticed a silver-skinned being, one of the Vel, being followed by a reptilian draconian who seemed agitated. Across the room, Fletcher was speaking with a Vel diplomat. "Ambassador Thalir, I appreciate your candor," Fletcher was saying. "Few here have been so direct with us." Thalir's silver face showed subtle expressions of concern. "The Vel remember what it was like to be restricted. The Council claimed it was for our own good as well. And now you enforce those same restrictions on others," Fletcher noted. "Not all Vel agree with Council policy," Thalir said quietly. "Some of us believe." A commotion interrupted them. The draconian who had been following another Vel diplomat suddenly lunged forward, a crystalline blade appearing in his clawed hand. Without hesitation, Alicia moved. Using her enhanced abilities, she crossed the room faster than should have been possible. She reached the Vel diplomat just as the draconian struck. Alicia deflected the blade with her bare hand, the edge somehow unable to cut her skin, and twisted the weapon away. Security forces rushed in, surrounding the draconian attacker. "He tried to kill Ambassador Krythe," someone shouted. Fletcher hurried over as Alicia helped the shaken Vel to his feet. "Are you injured?" Fletcher asked. "No, thanks to your security officer," Krythe replied, staring at Alicia with newfound interest. "How did she move so quickly? How did she stop a molecular blade with her bare hand?" Fletcher smiled slightly. "Humans have many surprising qualities." The hall buzzed with excited conversation. Many council representatives were now looking at the humans with something new in their eyes, uncertainty, and perhaps a touch of fear. Later that night, Ambassador Thalir requested a private meeting with Fletcher. "That was no random attack," Thalir said when they met in a secure room. "Krythe leads a faction of Vel who wish to reform the council. There are others who suffer under council restrictions, as you soon will. Perhaps we have common interests," Fletcher suggested. Thalir's silver eyes studied the human carefully. "Perhaps we do. The council is not as united as it appears, and now they've seen something they didn't expect from humans." "What's that?" Fletcher asked. "Power they don't understand," Thalir replied. "Nothing frightens the council more." Word of the incident at the reception spread quickly through Nexus Prime. In the council's private chamber, High Chancellor Zorix faced angry questions from several members. "The human female stopped a molecular blade with her bare hand," said the draconian representative, his scales darkening with anger. "This technology was not in our reports. More concerning is why one of your people tried to kill Ambassador Krythe," countered the Aquarian delegate, bubbles of agitation rising in her waterpod. The council meeting dissolved into accusations and demands. The Draconians and Synthetics called for immediate military action against Earth. The Aquarians and Luminals urged caution and further study. Zorix raised his hands for silence. We will not act hastily. Our enforcer fleet is already en route to the human system. They will ensure compliance with our directives. Meanwhile, Fletcher met secretly with Thulir and representatives from 3 other races, the Kaldar, Nevari, and Thorn. All had been subject to council restrictions in the past. The council kept us isolated from each other, explained Wren, the plant-like Thorn ambassador. We never knew others suffered similar limitations. They claim protection, but enforce stagnation, added Mira of the insectoid Kaldar. We've been limited for 2,000 years. Fletcher listened carefully. And what do you propose? An alliance, Thulir said simply. Your humans have abilities the Council fears. Our peoples have numbers and knowledge. The Council monitors all communications, Fletcher pointed out. Thulir smiled. Not all methods of communication. Back on Earth, Dr. Eric Winters worked frantically with data provided by the Vel. He'd discovered a way to use the energy field that Kate Monroe had harnessed to create an undetectable communication network. In his lab, surrounded by equipment, Winters spoke to Admiral Carter. It works. I've established direct contact with representatives from all 4 races. The Council can't detect or intercept these signals. Susan Carter's eyes widened. This changes everything. We can coordinate resistance across multiple systems. There's more, Winters continued. These races have been developing technologies in secret for centuries. Combined with our new abilities, we might actually win. Susan finished. On Nexus Prime, Major Howard received a message from Earth during a secure moment in her quarters. After reading it, she sought out Fletcher. They've done it, she told him quietly. Direct communication with our new allies, undetectable by the Council. Fletcher nodded, relief showing on his face. Tell our friends, we need to accelerate our plans. The Council is sending ships to Earth. In the following days, strange energy readings began emanating from Earth. The Council's monitoring stations detected unusual patterns they couldn't identify. High Chancellor Zorix called an emergency session. Our sensors show unknown energy signatures from the human system, he reported. The Science Division cannot identify the source. Could it be weapons? Asked the synthetic representative. Unknown, but we must assume hostile intent, replied Zorix. I have redirected our scientific mission to investigate. The Vel delegate spoke up. Scientific mission? You mean the battle fleet you sent to enforce your will on the humans? Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many delegates had not been informed of the true nature of the mission. It is a precautionary force, Zorix insisted, for the protection of all. Like the forces sent to Nexus 12, asked Thulir coldly. The planet whose civilization now exists only in our historical archives. Silence fell over the Council. Several members looked uncomfortable. The humans are dangerous, Zorix said finally, as were others before them. The Council has always acted for the greater good. The greater good, echoed Ambassador Krythe, entering the chamber unexpectedly, or for the good of the founding races who fear losing their power. As arguments erupted again, Fletcher received an urgent message from Earth. Enhanced fleet ready. Allied ships moving. Council forces detected entering our system. Prepare for confrontation. Fletcher exchanged glances with Alicia Howard. The time for diplomacy was ending. The time for action had come. And the Council had no idea what humanity was truly capable of. The Council fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 20 massive warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent. Admiral Krex, a veteran Draconian commander, stood on the bridge of the flagship Dominion, his scaled lips curling into what passed for a smile. Primitive system, he remarked to his second-in-command. Their defensive capabilities are negligible according to our intelligence. They have been informed of our arrival, asked the officer. Yes, they are expected to accept our terms without resistance. Prepare the boarding parties to install the monitoring systems. Deep within Earth's orbit, a different scene unfolded. Captain Gregory Walsh stood on the bridge of Earth's new flagship, Defiance. Unlike other Earth vessels, this ship had been built with Kate Monroe's new technology integrated into every system. Status report, Walsh called out. Council fleet detected at System Edge, reported his sensor officer. 20 ships, heavily armed. Walsh nodded calmly. And our allies? In position but cloaked. The Council doesn't see them. Admiral Susan Carter's voice came through on the command channel. Remember the plan, Captain. Let them approach. Let them think we're weak. Then show them exactly who they're dealing with. Understood, Admiral. Walsh turned to his crew. Battle stations. Activate Monroe shields, but keep weapons powered down for now. The Council fleet moved deeper into the solar system, passing Neptune, then Uranus. Their scanners detected a small group of Earth ships near Mars. Pathetic defense force, Admiral Krex scoffed. They send 5 ships against our 20. His tactical officer looked uncertain. Admiral, their ships are showing unusual energy readings. Meaningless. They're trying to make us think they have technology they don't possess. As the Council fleet approached Mars orbit, Walsh received the signal he'd been waiting for. All ships, activate full Monroe field, he ordered. Weapons free. Show them what humans can do. The 5 Earth ships suddenly glowed with blue energy that rippled across their hulls. The Council fleet's sensors went wild. What is this? Demanded Krex as his tactical displays showed confusing readings. Target their lead vessel and fire. The Dominion launched its most powerful weapon, a graviton beam designed to tear ships apart at the molecular level. The beam struck the Defiance directly and did nothing. The blue energy field around the Earth ship absorbed the attack completely. Walsh smiled grimly. Our turn, he said. Target their engines and weapon systems only. We're not here to massacre. The Defiance fired. Beams of energy unlike anything the Council had seen before lanced out, somehow bypassing the Dominion shields entirely. The massive warship's engines went dead instantly. Impossible. Krex roared. All ships, concentrate fire. Before the order could be carried out, space itself seemed to ripple around the Council fleet. Ships from the Vel, Kaldar, Navari, and Thorn suddenly appeared, having dropped their cloaking fields. Admiral Krex, came a transmission from a Vel ship. This is Captain Celis of the Free Alliance. Your fleet is surrounded. On the Dominion's bridge, alarms blared as weapons locked onto them from all sides. This is Captain Walsh of Earth, came another transmission. Your choice is simple. Retreat and inform the Council that Earth will not be controlled or be destroyed here. Krex snarled with rage. You cannot challenge the Council. We have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Perhaps that's been too long, replied Walsh calmly. On Nexus Prime, the Council session dissolved into chaos as reports came in. The Enforcer fleet, their most powerful military force, was being completely outmatched by human technology they couldn't understand in ships from races they had thought firmly under control. High Chancellor Zorix faced the angry delegates, his skin pale with shock. How is this possible? Demanded the synthetic representative. The humans have united our subject races against us. Not against you, corrected Ambassador Fletcher, entering the chamber with Tholier and the other allied representatives. Against your control. There is a difference. Fletcher approached Zorix directly. The humans have a message for the Council, he said calmly. Your time of absolute rule is over. You have a choice, reform or be replaced. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council faced something they had never expected. Species they had sought to control who were now stronger than their controllers, and leading them were the humans, the very race they had underestimated most of all. 6 months passed quickly. The grand chamber that once housed the Galactic Council had been redesigned. The circular table was larger now, with 30 seats instead of 12. Representatives from all spacefaring races sat as equals in what was now called the Interstellar Concord. Admiral Susan Carter and Ambassador Ryan Fletcher represented Earth. Kate Monroe and Major Alicia Howard attended as advisors. The former council races had been forced to accept a new reality where their technological advantages had been neutralized by human innovation freely shared with their former subjects. The final trade agreements are ready for approval, announced Mira of the Kaldar, who now served as the Concord's chief economic officer. For the first time, all worlds will have fair access to essential resources. High Chancellor Zorix was gone, removed from power when the truth of the Council's past actions had been revealed. In his place sat Thalur of the Vel, elected by majority vote to lead the new Concord. "We gather today not to control, but to cooperate," Thalur said, his silver skin gleaming under the chamber lights. 6 months ago, this would have seemed impossible. Susan Carter looked around the table, still amazed at how quickly things had changed. After the standoff in Earth's solar system, the Council's power had collapsed rapidly. Without their military advantage, the founding races had been forced to negotiate. "The transition has not been without challenges," Thalur continued. "Some still resist the new order." "Change is always difficult," Fletcher replied. "Even positive change." After the meeting, Susan walked with Kate through the vast gardens of Nexus Prime, now open to all visitors. The scientific exchange between races had created a golden age of discovery. "Your energy field technology has transformed everything," Susan said. "You must be proud." Kate smiled modestly. "I only discovered what was already inside us. Humans always had this potential, and now we've shared it with others." "Not just shared," Kate corrected. "Each species has found their own way to access and use the field. The Kaldar can see patterns in it that humans can't. The thorn can actually grow and shape it. We're stronger together than separate." In the Concord's military headquarters, Major Howard trained a mixed group of human and alien security forces. The former council races had been shocked to discover that many lesser species possessed unique abilities that had been suppressed for centuries. "Focus on the connection, not the object," Alicia instructed a young Navari who was learning to manipulate the energy field. "Your mind shapes reality, not the other way around." The largest changes had come in exploration. Captain Lloyd Bennett, who had once stood helplessly at the back of the council chamber, now commanded Earth's first true exploration vessel. The ship, named Discovery, carried a diverse crew of humans and aliens into uncharted space. On the Discovery's bridge, Lloyd reviewed star charts with his alien first officer. "These regions were forbidden under the old council," said Varn, the Thorn navigator. "They claimed dangerous species lived there, or perhaps valuable resources they wanted to keep for themselves," Lloyd suggested. "Either way, we go with open minds, not fear." As the Discovery prepared to jump to faster than light speed, Lloyd thought about how quickly the galaxy had transformed. The Council had feared human unpredictability and tried to control it. Instead, that very quality had broken chains that had bound dozens of species for thousands of years. "Course set, Captain," reported Varn. "Ready for jump on your command." Lloyd smiled. "Take us to the unknown, Commander." As the ship leaped forward, carrying its mixed crew of former enemies and subjects, Lloyd reflected on the Council's fatal mistake. They had decided to control humanity, seeing only danger in human nature. They had never considered that the same unpredictability they feared might create not chaos, but a better, freer galaxy for all. The Council had tried to cage humanity. Instead, humanity had freed the stars.